just think about when we talk about children in armed conflict. That means that the situation is even worse. And I would like to remind that I'm happy, and you mentioned it, Constance, the linkage between 182 and 29 with my own mandate, the mandate I'm entrusted with. Maybe just to recall that this mandate is broader than child soldier, but I think here we will focus on child soldier, but also not only as combatant, but also use of children in conflict with different activity, and I will come to that. So the linkage is absolutely clear, and for us it's important to have such legal framework, the Convention 182 and the Convention 29, that allow us to use this legal framework to also have the legitimacy to remind everyone with its responsibility when it comes to what's happening to children in conflict. Just to recall also that the commitment of the international community to address the issue of violation of child rights in conflict goes back 20 years almost, 1996, when Graça Machel, as independent expert, presented her first report to the General Assembly and identified clearly the impact on children in every conflict, and also achieved that we have the resolution adopted by the General Assembly to establish the mandate I am entrusted with. Since then, of course, since 1999, it's the Security Council who also decided that engage on this issue, consider that it is a peace and security issue, and adopted a resolution to allow us to work with legitimacy and also with the tooth that the Security Council can, Security Council can use to address this issue. First of all, so one of the major experience I have, I spent 4 years in Congo, and I can tell you, when we talk about children in armed conflict, it's not just using children in combat, which is the worst thing, because they are maimed, they are injured, they are killed, they are forced to themselves commit atrocity, and they sometimes, as a tactic, they are forced to commit the atrocity against their own community, to cut the relationship with their own family and their own community. This is the worst, and I saw it several times, that children cannot return to their own community because they were first in front of everyone, either to kill or to rape or to torture. So that's one thing. Second is also when you manipulate children and you let them understand that it is their own duty to defend the community and to fight instead of the adult. And they are generally put in front line. They are the ones who pay the high price. This is in combat when we talk about children. But it's not only that, and it's not only boys, it's boys and girls. And I will just recall one case of a girl that was, she lost her family in a raid in the village, Amy. She joined an armed group, maybe well-known, UPC, l'Union des Patriotes Congolais, de Thomas Lubanga. She told us when she came, she told us that she was sent, she was going to fight. But what happened in reality, when she goes with her story, we discover that in reality she was entrusted to first guard her commander and to be his sex slave at night. At 15, she was pregnant, and then she was sent to work to guard a camp for mining camp run by the group. And she was forced then to ill-treat children that were in the camp to dig for gold. And she was themselves reporting what happened, and she broke down when she started talking about what happened in the camp. She was forced to beat children. She was forced to sometimes to see children killed because they try to get some gold dust to feed themselves. So the reality of the conflict is not only combat, it's also all the illicit that was mentioned by illicit activity mentioned by Marta that are also used by armed groups. And then you have sex slave, you have trafficking, you have everything happen when children are recruited and used. And you know that now with all the terrorist groups, they are also used as a suicide bomb. They are used as spy. They are used so it's a huge activity. And what I would like to mention is also what we are seeing with the emerging conflict. It's not only in one country happening. We have 22 situations of conflict in my mandate, 22 situations all over the world. But in every conflict, you have a regional dimension. And in the regional dimension, you have 3, 4, 5 countries that are affected. And when I visited Syria and the neighboring country in last July, I can say that not only the children of Syria are affected, but also the behavior in the neighboring country. Because the vulnerability of children that are in the camps, that cannot go to school, that cannot have the protection, they are recruited inside the camp. They are also sent to work, because in every camp you can see that you don't have male adult. You find the majority are women and boys. And all of them are, of course, in a situation of vulnerability, and children are, of course, in the labor, used as child labor, but they are also sexually abused, they are prostitution, early marriage, everything happened. And this, what neighboring countries themselves told me, that this affects the behavior of their own community, and also the market and the company and etc. So this is, we have to bear in mind that when we talk about recruitment and use, when we talk about children in armed conflict, we are talking about a huge range of violation, and we are talking about also the regional dimension. Just to explain that we consider that its government in general agree, and there is a common agreement that they don't want to have children in their army or in their police. Very few, in fact, did not agree on that. And even those, for example, we have out of the 55 parties to conflict listed on the Security Council annexes, Secretary General annexes, you have only 8 government that are forces that are listed, and all of them already signed an action plan with the UN or are in a process to do so. So it's important that we see how we can make this commitment true, because still we have children recruited, still we have children vulnerable. So how we can ensure that what is happening, either by armed groups or by the lack of capacity of government, how we can work with all, and I think that we will have the opportunity to talk on that. I would like just before stopping, I would like to mention something important for us is that what many of the partners are doing on the ground is something essential to the government, to the party to the conflict, to allow us, first of all, because in the mandate that we have, we are entitled by the Security Council to monitor and report on the violation. We can list parties that commit as a trend the 6 violations covered by the mandate: maiming and killing, sexual violence, attacks on schools and hospitals, and denial of maiming and killing. So just to know the importance of the attacks on schools and hospitals, and I will stop here, that we have now like a target, specifically by armed groups, attacking schools, hospitals, and more target on girls. Just yesterday, you know what happened in Iraq, and also in other places, in Africa, in Asia. Schools are attacks. So we have, and this is the worst attack against the future of this generation. I always remind everyone, in setting conflict, the pyramid of age is like this. The majority of the population are youth or under 18. And if they are not allowed to go to school, if they are forced to be recruited and used in conflict, it's the future of all these countries that is compromised. Thank you.